Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying this: greatness is not a gift reserved for a select few. Success does not happen by chance or luck. Success is predictable. It is the result of a series of decisions and actions repeated consistently over time. You see, many of us want success, but we are not willing to engage in the process that leads to it. We desire the outcome, but we resist the discipline. Let me tell you something: consistency is the foundation of all achievement. If you want to be great in anything, you must force yourself to be consistent. Because mastery is the product of what you do consistently. Every skill you acquire, every goal you achieve, every mountain you climb will be the result of consistent, disciplined effort. It's not what you do once in a while that determines your success. It's what you do daily. The habits you build, the routines you create, these will either lead you to success or cause you to fall short. But friends, motivation is not enough. Some of you are waiting to feel motivated to take action. But I'm here to tell you that motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. If you only act when you feel motivated, you will never reach your full potential. Consistency is born out of discipline, not emotion. You must discipline yourself to stay committed, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. True consistency is not about how you feel, it's about what you are committed to achieving. So force yourself, push yourself to stay the course, because the path to success is paved with small, consistent steps. Now, you may ask, how can I stay consistent when distractions surround me? When life becomes difficult and challenges arise, my answer is simple: stay focused on your purpose. When you know the reason why you do what you do, you can endure any obstacle, any distraction, and any hardship. Your purpose becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded, and it fuels your consistency. Understand this: breakthroughs come to those who remain consistent. The great successes you admire did not happen overnight. Behind every victory is a story of persistent effort, of showing up day after day after day, even when there were no visible results. Success is a process, and the process requires you to be patient, persistent, and consistent. And let me tell you something else: consistency builds credibility. In your relationships, in your career, in your leadership, people will trust you when you are consistent. They will believe in you because you are reliable. Consistency builds trust. It makes you dependable. When you are consistent, people know they can count on you. But there's something you must understand: distractions are inevitable. There will always be something trying to pull you away from your goals. But consistency requires that you focus, that you resist the urge to be distracted by every shiny object or new challenge that comes your way. You must keep your eyes fixed on the vision ahead of you. So today, I challenge you: force yourself to be consistent. Not for a week, not for a month, but for as long as it takes to achieve your goals. Force yourself to rise above your feelings and circumstances and commit to the process. Commit to the small daily actions that will lead you to success. Remember this: the power of consistency is that it compounds over time. Little by little, day by day, you will begin to see the results of your effort. And when you look back, you will realize that the key to your success was not in a single grand effort, but in the simple, disciplined act of being consistent. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in life. It is the quiet, uncelebrated habit that produces the greatest results over time. Many people desire success, but few are willing to embrace the process that leads to it. At the heart of this process is the need to be consistent. You can have the best plans, the best intentions, and even the strongest motivation, but without consistency, your efforts will not yield the lasting results you hope for. Mastery in any area of life is the result of small actions repeated over time. It's not what you do occasionally that makes a difference, but what you do consistently. Whether it's in your personal life, career, relationships, or even health, you must develop the discipline to show up every day. This is not easy because consistency requires discipline, and discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Many people fall into the trap of waiting for motivation to kick in before they take action. They think that they need to feel inspired or energized to work towards their goals. But motivation is temporary. It ebbs and flows. Some days you will feel on top of the world, ready to conquer any task. Other days you will struggle to get out of bed. If you rely on motivation alone, you will always be inconsistent because your emotions are inconsistent. This is why you must develop discipline, the ability to push forward regardless of how you feel. When you commit to
Discipline is what
consistency,
bridges
you
the gap
embrace the
between where you
reality
are and where you
that
want to
success
be.
is a journey, not a destination. You understand that it's not about making huge strides overnight, but about making small, deliberate steps every day. These small steps may seem insignificant at first. You may not see immediate results, but over time, the power of consistency begins to show. Every small action compounds, and eventually you reach a tipping point where your efforts produce visible, tangible results. This is where breakthroughs happen. People often look at those who achieve great success and assume they had some unique advantage or luck, but in reality, they simply stayed consistent when others gave up. Staying consistent requires more than just a strong work ethic. It requires a clear sense of purpose. When you know why you are doing something, it becomes easier to stay committed, even when things get tough. Purpose gives you direction. It becomes the driving force behind your actions. Without purpose, it is easy to get distracted or discouraged. But when you are focused on your purpose, you become more resilient in the face of challenges. You understand that every action, no matter how small, is a step toward fulfilling your purpose. One of the biggest challenges to consistency is distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. You may set out with the best intentions to stay focused, but sooner or later, something will try to pull you off course. Whether it's an unexpected event, a competing priority, or simply boredom, distractions can derail even the most disciplined person. The key to staying consistent is to recognize these distractions for what they are: temporary obstacles. You must train yourself to stay focused on the bigger picture, to resist the urge to deviate from your path. This requires mental strength and self-control. But it is essential also if you want to maintain consistency. Whether in your relationships or professional life, people are drawn to those who are dependable. When you consistently show up, do the work, and meet your commitments, people trust you. They know they can count on you because you have demonstrated reliability over time. This is one of the reasons why consistency is so powerful. It not only leads to personal success, but also earns you the respect and trust of others. At the core of consistency is the principle of repetition. Repetition is how habits are formed, and habits are what shape our lives. By consistently repeating the right actions, you create positive habits that move you closer to your goals. These habits become automatic over time, making it easier to stay on track. The more you repeat an action, the less effort it takes to maintain. Eventually, what once required conscious effort becomes second nature. Consistency is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is not something that people often celebrate, but it is the foundation of all lasting success. If you want to achieve anything meaningful in life, you must force yourself to be consistent. You must learn to push through the days when you don't feel like it, when distractions are calling, and when progress seems slow. Consistency leads to mastery, because it is in those moments when you choose to stay consistent that separates those who achieve greatness from those who truly merely dream about it. Many people desire success, recognition, and fulfillment, but what they often fail to realize is that success is not a one-time event. It is the cumulative result of small, repeated efforts over a long period. To master anything, whether it's a skill, a profession, or a personal goal, requires unwavering dedication to doing the necessary work regularly, even when it feels mundane or tedious. Mastery comes not from grand gestures or sudden bursts of brilliance, but from showing up day in and day out to do what needs to be done. Imagine an athlete training for a marathon. They don't prepare by running a marathon on their first day. Instead, they practice daily, gradually building their stamina, refining their techniques, and strengthening their body. The key is consistency. Over time, the body adapts, skills are honed, and performance improves. The athlete becomes a master not because of a single day's effort, but because of months and years of consistent practice. This is how mastery is achieved in every area of life. Similarly, in any profession or pursuit, whether it's learning a new language, building a business, or developing a talent, progress is made through repetition. The more consistent you are, the more opportunities you give yourself to learn from mistakes, improve your technique, and deepen your understanding. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum fuels mastery. When you show up consistently, even on days when you don't feel like it, you are investing in long-term growth. You may not see the results immediately, but over time, the compound effect of your efforts will become evident. Consistency is not always easy to maintain, which is why discipline is critical. Many people rely on motivation to drive their actions, but motivation is often fleeting. You may wake up one day feeling inspired to work hard, but that feeling might not last. If you depend solely on motivation, you will find yourself stuck in a cycle of inconsistency where you only take action when you feel inspired. Discipline, on the other hand, is what keeps you moving forward even when motivation is absent. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It's about committing to the process, not just the outcome. Discipline ensures that you take action every day, even when you're tired, discouraged, or distracted. It forces you to keep moving toward your goals when the initial excitement fades and the hard work begins. A disciplined person understands that success is a long-term game. They don't rely on fleeting emotions to guide their decisions. Instead, they rely on habits, routines, and a commitment to their goals. This is why discipline is more reliable than motivation when it comes to achieving success. To be consistent, you must cultivate discipline. This means setting clear goals, developing daily habits that align with those goals, and holding yourself accountable to follow through, even when it's challenging. You must push through distractions, overcome procrastination, and resist the temptation to give up when things get tough. Discipline is what turns your desire for success into concrete, consistent action. Ultimately, discipline is the foundation upon which consistency is built. Without it, you will struggle to maintain the level of effort required to reach your full potential. With discipline, you can force yourself to be consistent, regardless of the challenges you face. It is the key to turning your goals into reality and achieving mastery in any area of life. When you discipline yourself to be consistent, you are not just training your body or mind, you are also shaping your character. You are becoming someone who can be relied upon, someone who is committed to their growth and success. This level of discipline and consistency will not only help you achieve your personal goals, but will also set you apart as a leader, a role model, and a person of integrity. Consistency leads to mastery, and it is the key to achieving long-term success in any area of life. Whether it's in your career, relationships, personal development, or spiritual growth, the principle remains the same. What you do consistently determines the level of success you achieve. Many people aim for success, but are often trapped in the illusion of seeking quick results or shortcuts. However, mastery is not achieved through sporadic efforts or one-time actions. It is the result of repeated, disciplined actions over time. The more you consistently practice a skill or engage in a particular discipline, the better you become at it. Over time, this persistent effort accumulates, leading to mastery in that specific field. It's like planting seeds in a garden. Each day you water them, not expecting them to sprout overnight. But with consistent care and attention, growth becomes inevitable. Success comes not from what you do occasionally, but from what you do habitually. Whether you are striving to become a better leader, improve a skill, or achieve a specific goal, it's your daily commitment to improvement that will yield the results. The reason why many fail to achieve their potential is because they lack the persistence required to stay the course. They may start with enthusiasm but abandon their goals when they encounter difficulties or when the results are not immediate. Consistency requires discipline, and discipline is the ability to stay committed to your actions regardless of how you feel. There will be days when you are not motivated, when distractions seem overwhelming, or when progress feels slow. But it's in those moments that consistency matters the most. You have to force yourself to stay committed even when the emotions of excitement or motivation fade. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and trusting the process. Relying on motivation alone is dangerous because motivation is temporary. It's like a spark. It can get you started, but it will not sustain you in the long run. What sustains success is discipline, and discipline comes from understanding the purpose behind your actions. If you are only acting based on how you feel, you will quit the moment things get hard. But if you are driven by a deeper sense of purpose, by a vision that is bigger than your temporary feelings, then you will push through the obstacles and remain consistent. Purpose is what gives you the fuel to stay disciplined. It's the reason behind why you keep going when the results aren't visible yet. And it's the reason you show up when no one is applauding. When your actions are aligned with a greater purpose, consistency becomes not just an obligation, but a necessity. It becomes part of who you are and what you do. Think about this. Every significant breakthrough you admire, whether in business, sports, or personal achievement, did not happen overnight. Behind every great success is a story of consistent effort. It's easy to admire the final product, but what we often don't see is the countless hours of practice, the failures, and the setbacks that were overcome through relentless persistence. The truth is, greatness is the result of small, seemingly insignificant actions repeated over and over again. Each of those actions, while they may not seem like much at the moment, compound over time, leading to exponential growth and eventual mastery. The most successful individuals are not those who do something extraordinary once, but those who consistently do the right things every single day, no matter how mundane or repetitive those actions may seem. Consistency also builds trust and credibility, both in yourself and in the eyes of others. When you are consistent, you develop a track record of reliability. People can trust you because you have proven that you show up when it matters, that you are dependable, and that you don't quit at the first sign of difficulty. This builds relationships, strengthens leadership, and enhances your reputation. In any organization or personal endeavor, people value those who are consistent because it shows commitment and integrity. It's easy to start strong, but it's those who finish strong who leave a lasting impact. Staying consistent requires that you resist distractions. Life will always throw challenges and obstacles in your path. There will always be something that tries to pull you away from your goals. But true consistency comes from learning to focus on what matters most and not allowing yourself to be derailed by temporary setbacks. It's about staying committed to the vision and not allowing distractions to pull you off course. You may face setbacks, and there will be times when progress seems slow, but consistency is the ability to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. Consistency leads to mastery. This is a principle that holds true across every field, whether it's personal development, leadership, or any form of skill building. Mastery is not something that happens overnight, nor is it the result of one-time efforts. Instead, mastery comes when you engage in a process of regular and deliberate practice. The more consistent you are in any area of your life, the closer you get to mastering it. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and building on previous efforts. When you force yourself to be consistent, you're laying the groundwork for long-term success. Each day you spend practicing or improving adds a layer of competence to your foundation. And over time, these layers accumulate into expertise. Those who achieve mastery understand that the secret lies not in grand gestures, but in their daily, sometimes tedious commitment to the process. In life, many people rely on fleeting bursts of motivation to fuel their actions. However, this is not a sustainable approach. Motivation is like a spark. It may ignite action, but it doesn't keep the fire burning. What keeps the fire of success burning is discipline. Discipline is what allows you to push through even when motivation fades. It's easy to act when you're feeling inspired, but what happens on the days when you don't feel like it? This is where discipline comes into play. Discipline requires you to stick to your commitments regardless of your emotional state. This is the true test of consistency. When you force yourself to be disciplined, you create habits that drive long-term results. You are no longer a slave to the whims of your emotions. Instead, you become a person who acts according to principle and purpose. This approach sets you apart because most people quit when they no longer feel motivated. Discipline is the key that allows you to stay consistent in the long term. When you understand the why behind your actions, it becomes easier to force yourself to stay consistent. Purpose gives you a reason to keep going, even when the going gets tough. Many people fail to be consistent because they haven't connected their actions to a deeper purpose. Without purpose, it's easy to lose interest or become distracted by obstacles and challenges. However, when you have a clear sense of purpose, it becomes your anchor. Your purpose gives you the strength to persist because you know what you're working towards. Purpose fuels consistency because it adds meaning to your efforts. When you're clear on your purpose, every action becomes intentional. Even when results are slow to come, purpose reminds you that the process is worth it. It becomes easier to endure difficulties, knowing that each step is bringing you closer to fulfilling your purpose. Purpose is what allows you to stay consistent, not out of obligation, but because you are driven by something greater than temporary discomfort or challenges. Consistency is what leads to breakthroughs. But breakthroughs don't happen instantly. They are the result of persistent effort over time. Often people look for quick results, expecting major progress after a few weeks of trying something new. When those results don't appear, they get discouraged and quit. However, the reality is that true breakthroughs come after a long period of consistent work. Sometimes it may feel like your efforts are not yielding any results, but every action you take is moving you closer to success. You may not see the fruit of your labor immediately, but consistency ensures that progress is happening beneath the surface. The key is to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Consistent effort compounds over time, and eventually you reach a tipping point where everything comes together. The breakthrough happens not because of a sudden effort, but because of the small, consistent actions you've taken over time. This is the power of consistency. It builds momentum that eventually leads to significant results. When you force yourself to stay consistent, you are setting yourself up for future success. You may not know exactly when the breakthrough will come, but if you remain consistent, it is inevitable. Consistency is the foundation of success in any area of life. It is not about grand, isolated efforts, but rather the small, steady actions we take every day. Those who achieve greatness understand that mastery comes through repetition and discipline. While it's easy to feel inspired or motivated in the short term, true success requires something deeper: commitment to being consistent, even when the excitement fades. This principle applies to every pursuit, whether it's a career, a relationship, or personal development. One of the key reasons consistency is so powerful is that it leads to mastery. Mastery does not come from doing something once or twice. It comes from doing it over and over again until it becomes second nature. Repetition is what allows us to internalize new skills and knowledge. Whether you're learning a new language, developing a professional skill, or trying to improve your health, the more consistently you engage in the required activity, the better you become. Small, regular actions compound over time, leading to significant improvement. This is why it's crucial to show up every day, even when progress seems slow. The consistency of effort is what eventually produces mastery. Many people make the mistake of relying on motivation to sustain their efforts. Motivation is an emotional state, and like any emotion, it fluctuates. One day you feel energized and ready to take on the world, and the next day you may feel tired or discouraged. If you rely solely on motivation to keep going, your progress will be inconsistent. This is where discipline becomes essential. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about keeping the commitment you made to yourself, regardless of your emotional state. Discipline builds habits, and habits are what keep you consistent. The most successful people are not always the most motivated, they are the most disciplined. The driving force behind discipline is often a deep sense of purpose. When you understand why you are doing something, it becomes easier to stay consistent. Purpose gives you a reason to push through the challenges, setbacks, and boredom that inevitably come with any long-term pursuit. If you're working toward a goal that truly matters to you, the effort required doesn't feel like a burden, it feels like an investment. Having a clear purpose not only keeps you focused, but also gives you the energy to keep going when things get tough. While consistency might seem difficult to maintain in the short term, is what sustains consistency because it gives meaning to the daily grind. Success is often the result of small actions repeated over time. Many people give up just before they're about to see results because they underestimate the power of consistency. They want immediate rewards, but success doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience and persistence. The key is to trust the process and stay committed, even when the results aren't visible yet. Over time, consistent effort leads to breakthroughs that would have been impossible to achieve with sporadic or half-hearted attempts. Finally, consistency is essential for building trust and credibility, both in personal relationships and professional environments. People want to know that they can rely on you, that you'll show up and perform as expected. Whether you're leading a team, working with clients, or building personal relationships, consistency builds a reputation of dependability. When people know they can count on you, they begin to trust you more, and that trust opens doors to greater opportunities. Inconsistent behavior, on the other hand, leads to doubt and uncertainty. By being consistent, you not only improve your own skills and success, but also build stronger relationships with others. In a world full of distractions and instant gratification, it's easy to get sidetracked or to give up when things don't go as planned. But true consistency means staying the course, even when it's difficult or boring. It's about maintaining focus on your goals and not allowing short-term setbacks to derail your long-term progress. Career advancement or relationships depends heavily on one crucial factor: consistency. The journey towards success is not about doing extraordinary things once in a while, but rather about the commitment to doing ordinary things consistently over time. The power of consistency lies in its ability to turn small, repeated actions into significant results. One of the key aspects of consistency is its role in mastery. Becoming great at anything is not something that happens overnight or through random bursts of effort. It's the result of a series of intentional, deliberate actions taken over and over again. Whether it's learning a new skill, building a business, or even improving physical health, consistent effort is what allows you to grow and refine your abilities. Without consistency, progress is not sustainable, and the mastery of any craft or discipline remains out of reach. It is the repetition of small, seemingly insignificant actions that eventually leads to profound expertise and achievement. However, many people misunderstand the nature of consistency because they rely too much on motivation. Motivation, while important, is temporary. It fluctuates depending on how you feel on any given day. One moment, you might feel inspired to take on the world, and the next you could feel discouraged or distracted. Waiting for motivation to guide your actions is a sure way to fail, because motivation alone cannot sustain long-term success. Instead, discipline is the real driver of consistency. Discipline keeps you committed to your goals, even when you don't feel like taking action. It forces you to show up and put in the work, regardless of how inspired or motivated you feel. Discipline turns consistency into a habit. This leads to the next important point: understanding and reach your objectives. When you are clear about why you're doing something, staying consistent becomes less of a burden and more of a natural outcome. Your purpose gives you the motivation to keep going even when the journey gets tough. It's the reason behind your actions that propels you forward. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to lose focus and abandon your efforts when things become difficult or when the results aren't immediately visible. Purpose acts as a guiding force, helping you maintain consistency by reminding you of the bigger picture and the long-term impact of your actions. Consistency is also essential because it leads to breakthroughs. The most successful people are not necessarily those who are the most talented or intelligent, but those who persist even when results are not immediate. Major breakthroughs in life and business are often the result of cumulative, consistent effort. It is easy to become discouraged when you don't see results right away, but success often requires patience and perseverance. The daily, repetitive tasks that might seem insignificant in the moment are, in fact, laying the foundation for future achievements. Over time, these small actions build on each other, and eventually they lead to significant progress or breakthroughs that can change your life. Moreover, consistency builds trust and credibility. People trust those who are reliable and dependable. Whether it's in your personal relationships, your professional life, or your role as a leader, being consistent sends a message that you are someone who can be counted on. Consistency builds a reputation of integrity, and people are more likely to follow, support, or invest in individuals who demonstrate reliability. In contrast, inconsistency creates doubt and uncertainty, making it difficult for others to trust your words or your actions. Being consistent not only helps you build a solid reputation, but also strengthens your influence and leadership abilities. One of the greatest challenges to maintaining consistency is the presence of distractions. We live in a world filled with endless distractions, whether it's social media, entertainment, or the demands of everyday life. These distractions can easily derail your progress and prevent you from staying consistent. However, the key to overcoming distractions is to remain focused on your goals. You must train yourself to resist the urge to get sidetracked and instead keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Focusing on your long-term vision and the reasons behind your actions will help you stay disciplined and consistent, even when distractions arise. Ultimately, the path to success is not paved with sudden bursts of effort, but with steady, consistent actions that build up over time. Consistency is the key to mastery. It is sustained by discipline rather than fleeting motivation, and it is guided by a strong sense of purpose. By embracing the power of consistency, you position yourself for breakthroughs, build trust and credibility, and resist the distractions that seek to pull you off course. Through this commitment to being consistent, success becomes not just a possibility, but an inevitable outcome.